Hey, Chris Ferdinandi here with another Vanilla.js quick tip. Let's get into it. The fetch method is used to make AJAX requests, such as calling an API or fetching a remote resource or HTML file from a server. Let's look at how it works. For this lesson, we're going to use the JSON placeholder API, which is a dummy API that you can use to make real API calls as an endpoint, specifically the posts endpoint for that API. Let's say you wanted to get a list of posts from the API. We would pass that endpoint in as an argument to the fetch method. The fetch method returns a promise. We can handle API responses by chaining promise then and promise catch methods to it. Let's pass the response object, the thing that fetch returns, into our callback and then log it into the console. And I'm also going to log just in case there's an error. If we jump over to the browser, you can see that the thing we get back isn't actually usable text or JSON. It's instead a thing called a readable stream. And the reason for this is because the fetch method returns streams. To get our API data as text or a JSON object, we can use one of two methods native to the fetch object, body text or body JSON. The text method returns the body data as a text string, and the JSON method returns it as a JSON object. Both of these return a promise. Let's take a look at how they look. So I'm going to comment this out, and we're going to look at JSON first. And so instead of logging the response, I'm going to call the JSON method on the response and return it. And when it resolves, it gets passed into the next then in our chain. And I'm going to assign that to a parameter called data and log that into the console instead. If we jump over here and reload, you can see now I get back an array with all sorts of post objects that include the body, the title, and so on. Similarly, if we wanted to get back a text string, which is typically what you do if you were trying to grab like HTML, for example, instead of returning response JSON, you would return response text. I'm again going to assign this to the data parameter and log it into the console. And here you can see instead of getting an interactive array, I actually just get like a giant string representation of that array data. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe even share it with someone else who you think might enjoy it. You can also get my daily developer tips newsletter over at gomakethings.com, where every weekday I share a new tip, trick, tool, or Vanilla.js snippet to help you build a simpler and more resilient web. Thanks so much for watching.